think it's only my personal makeup that has got me so deeply involved with the mechanical aspects of motor racing. To me, driving in itself is not the end and the end all. It's the achievement of bringing the machine and myself into some degree of flow that brings us to the winning situation. It's a way of life to me. It's the only thing that's given me any purpose in my life. Driving a motor car requires a great deal of mental effort. I'm a calm person. It takes a lot to get me going. And occasionally, the actions of other drivers can get you into a situation where you do get mad. And this is the area where experience must be the paramount guideline for a driver, because just to throw up your arms and go completely mad, then you've got a potential weapon in your hands which can not only cause you a great deal of harm, but someone else. It bothers me most that I would fall over and break my ankle on a roller skate or get knocked down by a car walking through a crosswalk than it does what's happening to me on the racetrack. I'm far safer out there than I am walking around town. You know, I've been asked many times to go up to the snow country. I wouldn't get on a pair of skis if you paid me to, or even I wouldn't even go skating or roller skating, because the thought of injuring my legs is really paramount in my mind, that without my health, I can't do what I am capable or gifted. I feel very fortunate to be gifted with the abilities I have.
My job is to do the pit work. I just keep him informed of what's going on. If he's got a gap, if he's leading, how far ahead he is, if he's behind, how much he has to catch up, how many laps to go. It took me about 6 months to become proficient at it. Now I'm quite happy I can go to Bathurst. I stood there the whole 6.5 hours this year, and I did the whole lap chart. I did every lap he did. I couldn't even go away for 2 seconds. I was afraid to, in case he wanted to know something and I wasn't there to give it to him. He's used to seeing on the top how many laps to go, in the middle his lap time, on the bottom it's plus or minus so much, and if we change it, he can't adjust to it at the speeds he's doing.
Sandown, we experienced our first difficulties with our engines, and although I was leading the race handsomely, we had oil pressure failure, and the car came to a stop up on the back straight, and the opposition went on to win. I actually saw my first motor race in South Africa. I was 18 at the time. But I was 22 before I actually drove in competition here in Australia, and once I started, it was the only thing that meant anything to me. The successes that I achieve are personal successes. I'm only aware of the crowd after such time as I have won a race, and then a split between those who would like to see me win and those that wouldn't. I won't say that it doesn't upset me to hear people boo me. I think that's strictly just bad manners. There isn't anything you can do about it. But until more than 75% of the crowd are saying go home and don't come back, then it wouldn't bother me.
Well, Moffat seems slightly conceited, I'm afraid.
Yes, well, I like Moffat because I drive a Ford myself, and I have done for a long while.
Not that I'm prejudiced, just don't like Canadians much.
Well, I do enjoy listening to the comments. Some of them get me irritated, some of them hurt, perhaps. But I've always felt as long as they're talking about him, they're interested.
He's a good driver. You've got to give him that, but he's also a bit dirty.
I won't say that my driving was always above reproach, but I think it's worth mentioning that in the 10 years of driving, I've only ever been in the air once, and that was only just recently, so I don't think any serious allegations against the standard of my driving can really hold up.
I don't think any of them really intentionally go out to shunt each other, but it does happen sometimes. It's unavoidable. It's just one of those things, you know.
Peter Brock and I have driven the Touring Car Championship and the Manufacturers Championship all season and have not so much as put a dent in each other's bumper bar. But on occasions, in short races, on tight circuits, there will be an almighty dash into the first corner. Someone will get a little bit crossed up. And that's the aspect why we work so hard to get on the front row of the grid, and if possible, always on the pole. It enables the driver of the lead car to get out in front and get away from the hassle. Because most accidents statistically have shown the first corner, the first lap is where it all takes place. On occasions like that, the instinct to get in front outweighs the aspect of, am I taking his paint off? Those are the only aspects of the do or dare tendency in my makeup. The aspect of coming up on a fellow at 100 miles an hour and giving him tap never happens. And if it did happen, you wouldn't have a driving license for long. Personally, I don't win at all costs, but I certainly believe that we're not engaged in a Sunday school picnic. And I do have responsibilities to the companies that are sponsoring me.
I think Moffat's too overdone, too publicised, never see him out of his BP uniform.
I have tremendous sponsors. In the case of my oil company, are always saying to me, take it easy, you're trying to do too much.
Well, I think Rocky's going to win. Well, the whole deal team will win for sure because it's a pretty tight sort of a track. Something that suits the Torontos. But the Fords can't last because of their brakes and tyres. They're too heavy for the tyres that they're running.
Well, Phillip Island obviously is the one that I'd like to forget about. Apart from losing the overall championship, it's the first time I've ever been in the air in my career, and our tires let us down on this occasion. That's not something that we're terribly happy about, but again, we were short of supplies, and the tires we were trying to use were unsuitable for the circuit, and we paid the penalty. Adelaide was a meeting where we went out for the first time, and we had a tremendous advantage in the dry, and on Sunday morning the heavens opened up and we were all looking at each other through windscreen wipers. Again, this is where our tires play an absolutely critical part.
33 from 30, so they're coming up a bit. You're going to be in it longer if the dry is on you. It's going to flat. Well, let's get back into the tent.
Worries us most when it's raining is the choice of tires. Unfortunately, we do have an exclusive rain tire which is slotted in a very unique fashion. It acts like a squeegee. The water comes in and weaves its way out. We have a tire which is a full wet, which will run the full distance of the race as long as it's pouring rain. we have an intermediate tire, which is a little harder, and in the event that it dries out a little, it'll take the puddles, but it won't wear out too badly on us. If it dries completely, then we're forced to make a pit stop and go to our normal dry compounds. So it's a team manager's nightmare to make the choice, and it's a worry for the driver as well. And this is where Howard and I work very closely. I know the condition of the track in the warm-up race, and we make our decision just about 10 minutes before the race, depending on how the sky looks, and off we go. Coming up from the car in front of you, and also the inexperienced drivers who are a little bit nervous of the wet, and our approach speeds are so fast compared to a smaller car that it's a little bit difficult sometimes to judge the braking areas, because the last thing you want in the wet is a brake lockup, which it's very prone to do. It's not really giving the tire much of a help.
To me, defeat is only a passing thing, but it actually gets me more stirred up and determined to win the next time than winning does. The main driving force behind ever trying to achieve anything in motor racing was the aspect that if I did, I would have done something that if I could stop it all, and it would have given me not only joy, but a building of knowledge and experience where I think if I transferred it to any other endeavor, I would be well equipped. I don't feel as if I have been jollying the last 10 years away. My father used to always say, well, you're just a gypsy running around America. He didn't realize that some of the glamour of motor racing can look as if you're having a good time. But when you really analyze it, it's not all good times. People don't realize that on a Sunday is a work day for me. And although it's a carnival atmosphere, it's exciting, it's colorful, it's only natural to be talking and carrying on with people. But it's hard to get out of that frame of mind and jump in a car and be as quick as your mind needs to be to get that vehicle around at 100 and some odd miles an hour. I always try and be physically fit, which will in turn give me a nice clear head. And on Sunday morning, not talking to too many people. It's very hard not to be sociable to a certain degree. And if I'm ever accused of being snobbish or aloof, it's only because before a race, I find it takes a lot of energy away from me to carry on detailed conversations.
We're allowed to run on these cars 9-inch wide front wheels and 10-inch wide rear wheels. You can see the situation down here where we're still working at these wheels. We're having to go for extra clearance on the wheel stud so we can get these wheels on and off very quickly. It's very heavy stuff that these boys are going to have to be picking up and carrying around. Pit stop work is going to be very important again this year, as it always has been.
Durability isn't our main factor. I think it's just going to be where the pit stops fall, how many of them there are, and how fast we are in the pits.
We're going to be seeing what is going on out there. We can see the opposition, and the deal is going to be run from the pits.
I'm the one that has to get the vehicle around the circuit. And although I work very closely with Howard Marston, who's the competitions manager at Ford, and all the mechanics that prepare our Bathurst vehicle, it's a team effort. But ultimately, if I get a signal from them in the pits, and it's not part of our scheduled routine, and I know the car is in good shape, then I'll just nod to them.
Alan, you're 1973 Australian Touring Car Champion. Would you rather have won that title or the Hardy Proto 1000?
I'll settle for both.
Down comes
the flag in the 1973 Hardy Parada 1,000-kilometre event is underway, and the car that streaks into the lead is the first of the Superbirds, and this is the John Goss car, closely followed by the Brian Boyd car, driven by John French, and then Alan Moffat in the first of the Doco Superbirds. And Falcons 1, 2, 3, then two of the Tiranas, and that'd be the Peter Brock and Bob Morris car. The Fred Gibson car now gobbling up the Bob Morris car up Mountain Straight for the first time, trying to make it Falcons 1, 2, 3, 4, and does so. Next of the XU1 was the Alan Grice car, disappearing out of sight now. All seem to have made the start.
In a race as long as the Bathurst 500, which is really one of the longest production touring car races in the world, and certainly the longest one for any one driver, the strains on your neck become incredible. One can consciously find oneself going down the straight on occasions, just leaning the helmet on the roll bar to give yourself a little bit of a rest from the pains that develop in your neck. That's the only difficult part about Bathurst. Lots of people think that it's a tremendous strain on your arms and legs. Well, this isn't the case. It's not like trying to run the 100-yard dash in 10 seconds. You don't have that kind of drain of energy, but certainly over a period of 6 hours, your overall metabolism does take a pounding.
Settling into the car now. The last few nuts going on, the last gallons of fuel being poured into the fuel. And he's ready to go. The door slams and away goes in a flurry of dust and small stones. And Big Pete Gagan is at the wheel now of car number 9.
I think my biggest form of relaxation is a weekend where I can do absolutely nothing. I can watch a little television, or I can listen to some good music, or even occasionally take up a book and get involved in that. But just the knowledge that on a Friday night I don't have to get up and do anything until Monday morning is tremendous relaxation.
I didn't marry a motor racing driver. I married Alan, and his job happens to be a race driver. He's allowed me to become vitally interested in what he's doing and share with him. He's dedicated to motor racing. He's got frightening determination on occasions, but our home life is fantastic. He can divorce himself from motor racing on occasion, and they're probably our most precious moments. I'm not nervous when he's racing. I do like to do the work in the pits because it takes my mind off it.